YouTube, what's going on? I have another modern video for you here today. This is kind of a deck that needs very little introduction. It's a mono white hammer. It's kind of been a menace in the format for quite a while at this point, but it got some new cards, so I'd figure I'd check it out. Well, very few new cards, but they got Surge of Salvation. So you and permanents you control gain hexproof until end of turn, prevent all damage that black and red sources would deal to creatures you control this turn. So this is kind of taking the place of Blacksmith skill. You know, it can blink a Thoughtseize, which is unique, and it's gonna serve as a Blacksmith skill most of the time. I'm not exactly sure how relevant the losing and having an artifact lose indestructible come up, but I suppose we will find out. If you're somehow not familiar with this deck, the core strategy of this deck is it's a aggro / combo deck. What you're trying to do is get a cheap creature down, like an Ornithopter or a Memnite or Esper Sentinel, and you try to slam a Colossus Hammer onto your creature to give it +10/+10, and attack twice, or put 2 hammers on and attack once. And you do that with cards like Sigarda's Aid and Puresteel Paladin. Those are the main ways you get it on, as well as this kind of backup Kor Outfitters. You also have a Stoneforge Mystic. I'll call it a package, but you can Stoneforge Mystic for Kaldra Compleat. But you also have a Shadowspear to give trample in case your opponent has a lot of blockers. But it also just finds your combo piece in Colossus Hammer. This is probably one of the best Urza Saga decks. You're able to put a lot of artifacts out there, so your sagas are quite large. It's a good plan B for this deck when the hammer's not working out. Obviously, this deck is a little vulnerable to removal. You have other combo kills. Inkmoth Nexus is literally just a one-shot kill if you get a hammer onto it. And you can also play this deck as Azorius for spell pierces, but in the past I have found out that Blacksmith skill is pretty much just a spell pierce, so I like just having the mono white mana base. It makes Blood Moon a little less good against you, where against a blue-white hammer deck, Blood Moon is quite good against you. As far as the sideboard is concerned, pretty stock. Maybe this is kind of spicy, but I think even this is somewhat normal now. I have a Sword of Fire and Ice. I have a Pithing Needle. That is just an Urza Saga target. You commonly get engineered explosives with this as well. Got 3 Orvars for the creativity matchup. 3 March of Otherworldly Light. 3 Sanctifiers. Comes up in a lot of matchups. Good against Breach. Good against Rakdos. Drannith Magistrate is for living in Rhinos. And then there's the 1 extra copy of Blacksmith skill. So yeah, I like this deck. I haven't played it in a while, so there might be some kind of hiccups along the way, but it's a really powerful deck with very quick kills, so we'll go ahead and jump in a league and see how it goes. Alright guys, welcome to round 1. We have, looks like we're on the draw. So opening hands with this deck are pretty important, so I like to take a close look at them. We have a turn 1 Esper Sentinel. We have a Puresteel Paladin and a way to get 3 artifacts into play for the Metalcraft. So I think I'm going to go ahead and keep this hand. It's generally what you're looking for out of this deck. And if that doesn't work out, we have an Urza Saga, so I think this is just a strong keep. Ooh, a Sigarda's Aid. Interesting. All right, so our options are to play Esper Sentinel, Or we can get spicy and go for a Memnite plus Sigarda's aid, and that'll set up a turn 2 hammer. And I think I like that, so I'll go ahead and try that out. That way, if we, we lose out on our Memnite dying, we will have the Puresteel Paladin as kind of backup for this plan. Like, they might just kill this now. Yeah, see, that's okay with me. It's not the worst. Oh, they've also played a tap land. So we can go ahead and just slam our Colossus Hammer onto our Esper Sentinel. And I think this is best. I'm not exactly sure what we're playing against, but I kind of assume that it is like a Belcher deck. I don't think they can punish us for this. But yeah, with all these kind of weird lands, I just assumed that this is what it is. All right. Unless we draw a hammer here, we're probably dead. Okay, we'll attack. It's worth mentioning that the Surge of Salvation that we're playing over the Blacksmith skill actually fizzles out a Goblin Charbelcher. So that's kind of cool. All right, our opponent successfully cheesed us out. But I think overall this is probably a really good matchup. We just need to mulligan to a quick hand rather than a grindy one. So for this deck, I think Pithing Needle is going to be really strong against Charbelcher. I'm sure they have another backup win condition, but I'm not totally 100% familiar with Goblin Charbelcher. These marches should be good. They kill Charbelcher. I don't think anything else we necessarily have. I could see Drannith Magistrate being good if they have like some kind of Balustrade Spy win. But I think we'll just keep as is. We'll just try to be as fast as possible. We got to make 4 cuts here. I think the drums are all good. I think Shadowspear is probably unnecessary. I think we probably don't need... We might not need Giver of Runes. I think the Kaldra Compleat, just totally unnecessary. We're going for Hammer here. I think I'm going to cut this Blacksmith skill. And we'll cut a Giver. All right. I'm pretty happy with that. We're going to be mulliganing quite aggressively for a quick hammer kill, which this is not one, so we'll mull. Okay, so this hand isn't quite a quick kill, but like I mentioned, we have this Surge of Salvation, so if they're on the Charbelcher plan, we can stop them from targeting us at least once. So I'm going to keep it. The Saga can get a Pithing Needle for Charbelcher. And we have a Sigarda's Aid. So if we ever draw a hammer, we're in good shape. So I'm going to keep this. I'm going to ditch this March of Otherworldly Light. We already have one copy. All right, I'm going to lead on the aid. Even though we could draw Hammer next turn, I'm not going to play out the Memnite so it doesn't die like it did last time. It is currently our only creature. All right, now that we have two, I think I'll play them out. Hopefully we draw a land for our Saga. Either way, we have when our Saga pops, we'll be able to go get a Hammer if we want to. Fury. Okay, so we'll go ahead and use our Surge of Salvation. Could be a mistake. Okay, so I guess this just lets them reorder their library. So what do they got here? They have an Engineered Explosives. They have a Force of Vigor. Pyromancer's Ascension. How do they win with that? Yeah, I definitely don't want an Ornithopter right now. I assume they're just putting their Charbelcher on top, unless they have another way to win. Okay. So this doesn't give us the mana we want, unfortunately. I wish we had drawn a white card for our March of Otherworldly Light instead of a Springleaf Drum, but we can make one construct if we want. I doubt very seriously that if they're on the Charbelcher playing next turn, they'll be able to play and activate it. Ooh, that's brutal. All right. Oh, okay. So that's what they set up. That's very interesting. Oh, we drew our Pithing Needle, though. So they have an Engineered Explosives on 1. Now, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to... I still don't think they're going to be able to play a Charbelcher and activate it in the same turn. I could very well be wrong about that. But that would make them need to crack their explosives in order to go for it if I Pithing Needled the Charbelcher, or I could just name the Engineered Explosives and guarantee a kill next turn. Or at least very likely guarantee a kill next turn. Yeah, I think I'm going to name the engineered explosives. If they get me, they get me. It's possible I could have piloted this matchup better, but who really knows how to play against this deck? All right, let's see if we're dead. Kind of looks like we might be. Okay. Yes, very exciting. All right, I'll see you guys in round 2. All right, guys, welcome to round 2. We are on the draw again. What do we have? So, we're light on lands, but we have the combo in our hand. So, I'm tempted to just keep this. We're on the draw. Our opponent plays a Polluted Delta. Stoneforge Mystic. So I think I might just lead on a Springleaf Drum here. I doubt very seriously they'd counter it, and it'll give me access to 2 mana next turn when I play my Esper Sentinel. I could just slam the Esper Sentinel there, but I kind of want it to live, so I'm going to try to hold open this Blacksmith skill. Okay, this could be Zoo, which, if that's the case, it might have been better to just play the Sentinel out. Okay. So we will just pass the turn and leave open our Blacksmith skill. We still really need a land, but we might be able to stop a Leyline Binding here. Okay. Pay for it. We will cast our Blacksmith skill. Now, if we draw a land here, we can put a hammer on this. Oh, that was definitely an error on my part. I could have waited. That's fine. Nothing changes. There you go. Better lucky than good, they say. Yeah, I definitely could have waited there to make that play. I should have waited until he put the trigger on the stack. All right. Let's see if they got another binding here. Shadow Prophecy. Okay. We got a land. That's good. So we're playing against some sort of Reanimator deck here. Since I have a backup hammer, I'm going to go ahead and just go ahead and get this Kaldra. Hopefully they don't have a Teferi Time Raveler in their hand. That would be unfortunate. All right. Let's see what they find. So top X, where X is 5. Ooh, they ditched a leyline binding. Is this a Goryo's Vengeance? A prismatic ending. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and just go for the kill here. If they have a Solitude, then more power to them. Okay. So on to sideboard. I assume they're trying to reanimate Atraxa. So we'll see what we got for them. Sanctifier could be good. And I want to bring in this Blacksmith skill as well, I think. To stop leyline bindings, to stop Solitudes and such. I think Shadowspear is not necessary. What else do we not want here? I think we probably don't need every copy of Springleaf Drum. And I want to say we can slow down a little bit, and we'll just cut a couple of these Ornithopters. Yeah, I'm okay with all this. So we'll submit. All right. Well, we have a bunch of broken sideboard cards, but I don't think this is the kind of one-lander you can keep, so we'll mull. This one has a lot going for it. We got a turn 1 Esper Sentinel into a turn 2 Stoneforge Mystic with a Saga as a backup. So I'm inclined to keep this hand. We're going to bottom the Steelshaper's Gift. It pretty much just does what Stoneforge Mystic does. I've played against this deck a bunch of times, and this Esper Sentinel into Stoneforge Mystic curve is very annoying. We also drew one of our sideboard cards. That's excellent. This is not like Scam, though. We may slow roll it until they put something in the graveyard. They have Solitude and Leyline Binding, so it doesn't actually have protection from any of their removal spells. But I assume it'll tag anything that they put in their graveyard that they're trying to reanimate. Okay. Well, we might have to slam the Sanctifier if they're just throwing it out there like that. So I think we will. It feels kind of bad. Obviously, it still gets blown out by Solitude. Oops. But what can you do? All right. We're going to play our Saga. We will play Stoneforge Mystic. I could get a Kaldra here, but I think I'm just going to get the hammer. I don't have... I just have a strong feeling that my Stoneforge Mystic is probably not untapping, so I can play Puresteel Paladin plus Hammer at a later turn. Ooh, brutal. It's kind of good though. That means they're not likely to have a way to put cards in their graveyard. If they did, I think they would have just gone for it there. Okay, we got double hammer. We're still just going to pass, and we'll just make constructs. We are taking quite a thrashing. All right, that's a good draw. So what do we want here? Just a Springleaf Drum. A lot of our creatures are just not doing anything right now. We will get a Kaldra Compleat. And I'm thinking about just playing one of these hammers to buff our guys. I could be wrong about that, but I'm going to do it. I kind of think they have a Solitude. So I'm not getting in with that Esper Sentinel anyways. I'll just attack with my 5/5. Yep. I'm okay with that. I guess they can reanimate the Solitude if they want to pick off the other Stoneforge Mystic. Which they do. We have a lot of good draw steps right now. Ooh, they left their dudes back. Ooh, that is an extremely good draw. So we could play Hammer to try to get a draw step, but that's actually, it's not when you cast, it's when it enters that you get the card draw. So I think it's better to just go for the equip. I'm actually going to equip to the Esper Sentinel. It's the card I care the least about. Obviously, it also has the highest payoff if it becomes that big. So they might actually go for the hammer here instead of the paladin. Oh, they went for the sentinel. Oh, they did go for it. I wonder what that's supposed to mean. I still get the equip. Okay. Well, I will just get in there. I wonder if that's supposed to mean they have another Solitude that they plan on hardcasting. Okay, okay. Yeah, that thing has Unearthed, that's right. That's pretty sweet. Ooh, Surge of Salvation. So this can prevent our constructs from trading off with the Grief and Solitude double block. So they will go to 7, 8, 9, 10 and take 4. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. So they'll be at 6 life if I attack as is. They'll be at 5 if I play the hammer. I think it's better to save the hammer. So we'll attack. If they run the double block, we will use our Surge of Salvation. Okay. We will cast Surge. And if they have nothing, we will get there. All right. Got a win on the board. I will see you guys in round 3. Round 3, we're on the play. What do we have here? We might be able to keep this hand if we had a cheap creature to go with our Springleaf Drum, but as is on the play, I don't think we can keep this hand. We'll fall too far behind if we miss our land. So we'll mull. This hand, however, is quite different. We are obviously light on lands, but we have a cheap creature to go with our Springleaf Drum. We also have a Blacksmith skill, a Hammer, and a Sigarda's Aid. Now, we have to get rid of one of these cards. And that card might just be the Blacksmith skill. Since we have 2 creatures, we're on the play. We can go Springleaf Drum, Ornithopter, Esper Sentinel. It's a pretty strong start. I'm going to keep it. It might be wrong to bottom the Blacksmith skill, but ultimately something has to go in this hand, and I think it's just the weakest card, not knowing what we're playing against. So we'll keep. We'll bottom. Make white mana. And we will cast our Sentinel. Now, hopefully, we're playing like another dirtly Leyline Binding deck, although it looks like we're playing against like Azorius or something. Ooh, Urza Saga's extremely good here. The Memnite was actually even kind of strong as well. We're actually going to save the Memnite in hand. That way we know we have mana for our Urza Saga next turn in with the drum. So this turn we're just going to hammer and we'll just go for it. It's what we're here to do, and we're going to do it. Hopefully they're just dead to this. Sometimes they are. Shadow of Doubt. Yep, this is why you play Hammer. All right, we saw a Prismatic End and a Shadow of Doubt. My immediate intuition is that we're playing against some sort of control deck with Shadow of Doubt being the pet card. If that's the case, then I'm going to bring in a Blacksmith skill and the Sword of Fire and Ice. Maybe this Pithing Needle. I assume they're playing Engineered Explosives. What do we want to get rid of? So we can cut a Shadowspear. We can cut... I think we want to cut the 2 Ornithopters. Yeah, I think that's fine. Kind of my reasoning for that is that we're playing a slower matchup, so we can slow down a little bit. We don't need to... You know, if we just suit up an Ornithopter on turn 1, smack them for 10, and they Prismatic End us, we could just be in trouble. So, I have to suit up for a slower game. All right, what do we have here? To me, this looks like a really strong hand. We have Aid plus Hammer. We have a Stoneforge Mystic, which can threaten a Kaldra Compleat and a Kor Outfitter for if our Hammer doesn't connect with the Aid to re-equip to another creature. And we have a Saga as our backup. Like I said, kind of slower, but we are going to keep it. All right, we're going to lead on our Aid. Kind of made me feel like they had a Force of Negation there. Okay. So in this spot, we will lead on a Stoneforge Mystic. And since we already have 1 hammer, we will just go get our Kaldra Compleat. There's definitely an argument to go get Sword of Fire and Ice because it's castable. But I kind of just want them to use their turn again. And if they do that, that's fine. And I'll just start activating my Urza Saga. Urza Saga will be pretty good here. We can go activate, go get a hammer, and then we have the Kor Outfitter to equip it to one of the tokens. Teferi Time Raveler kind of stinks here. Especially if it's in combination with a Solitude. Let's see, what'd they pitch? A Supreme Verdict. Okay. Pretty lucky that they didn't have the Time Raveler there. They could have bounced our Urza Saga. So we'll definitely slow it down a bit. We'll just activate our Saga a couple times. think we still want the hammer. Yeah, we'll go ahead and get the hammer. We're just going to play out a lot of our little artifacts so we can make our saga as big as possible. I'm going to play this out, and I'm going to preemptively name engineered explosives. Ooh, counterspell. That's nice. Next turn, we'll play out our saga, and we will try to strap up one of our guys with a Colossus Hammer. It's kind of a blowout if they have dress down, though. I think ultimately that's okay. Actually, just need to cycle this for colored mana. It also just makes our constructs as big as possible. Now we have another round of constructs coming. Supreme Verdict doesn't do it. All right, that was a pretty easy game. See you guys in round 4. All right, guys, welcome to round 4. We are on the draw again. Pretty unlucky. All right, what do we got? So we have a turn 1 Esper Sentinel into like a slew of Stoneforge Mystics. No way to equip the hammer yet, but I think that's good enough. It'll definitely stress out the removal spells. Like I said, I've played against this deck a bunch. Esper Sentinel into Stoneforge Mystic is a very annoying curve for a lot of decks. Might be slightly weak to a turn 1 Ragavan with this hand. Ooh. We are playing against a kind of unusual deck, I believe. I think. So I kind of want to play out this Memnite, but I'm worried about a Fury. So I think I'll just not cast. A lot of times people will invoke into a Fury just for the Esper Sentinel. Unless they have an answer. I don't think the 1 damage is going to matter here. I'm not exactly sure what we're playing against. I assume this is goblins. This is goblins. Okay. Interesting. Well, we could definitely go for it this turn if we want to. The problem I have with just going for it now is that a lot of the time they're going to have a lot of blockers. So is there any way we can get around them having a lot of blockers? We can go for an Inkmoth Nexus kill. we can force them to... Well, we have multiple Stoneforge Mystics. I think we should go for it this turn. And we'll just put multiple hammers on multiple creatures and make them block a lot. I think that's perfectly reasonable to do. We will lead on the Inkmoth Nexus plan, so not for the following turn, but the turn after that, we will have access to the Inkmoth Nexus Colossus Hammer play. I don't think anything that they can violin on one can stop this. Also, I've been playing this in the main phase, but it's probably right to wait for them to not block before you hammer. But I actually want the Snoop to block, believe it or not. Snoop is part of this deck's combo. And I'd rather it just not live. Like, they could actually kill us next turn if they have their combo in their hand. I forget exactly what the combo is, but there's like a black goblin that tutors a card to the top of the deck. Then they will go put Kiki Jiki on the top of their deck. They'll make infinite snoops, and their last snoop will copy the goblin that puts a creature on the top of the deck, and then they'll get that 1-mana 1/1 that sacrifices itself to do 1 damage, and then just fling all of their goblins at your face. Okay, we got another hammer. But they have a munitions expert. I assume they want to block with the munitions expert. We're going to play a Memnite out. I do think I will go for the Inkmoth Nexus play. I will not cast this hammer with this munitions expert face up, but I will if they go to kill my Inkmoth Nexus. If they have double munitions expert, well, they got us. Okay, they got one on top of their library, but that's not quite good enough. I will hammer. This is going to force a double block. And Snoop is the card we care about. Nothing else matters. Hopefully they don't have another goblin in their hand. They do, so they get to keep the Snoop around. Well, they can also just eat 11 here. Oh no, that's bad for us. Yeah, they're starting to grind us out here. Well, hopefully they just don't find their combo. We'll eventually work our way through this. That's a lot of Stoneforge Mystics. So this can get the Shadowspear, and we'll just play it now. This very well could have been the play we needed to make last turn. Hopefully we're not going to get punished with a combo because of it. This is my inexperience with the deck showing. I think a really experienced pilot wouldn't have gone for that Inkmoth Nexus line. They would have just trampled. Our opponent would be dead now if that were the case. We don't want to attack with that. So I think we have to fade one draw step. They should just take it this turn. They basically have to combo kill us. Let's see what they get. They have a couple looks with their fetch land. Like, they could fetch this away if they don't want it. I imagine that's actually what they do. There's no point casting it. At least I don't think there's a point in casting it. Yep, that's what they do. I really wish I could tell you all the name of the card that we're scared of here, but it's a black and 2 mana Goblin Tutor. It tutors to the top of the library like a Worldly Tutor. If you have a Snoop in play, it's a combo kill. So what do we want? I imagine Sanctifier en-Vec is very strong against this deck. Just for the pro red. I want to say Sword is, but realistically it's not. Shadowspear is going to be an MVP. What do we not want? They have a bunch of the munitions experts, but I don't think Giver of Runes is going to be that strong here. And I think we can cut a Puresteel Paladin for the same reason. Maybe not. It could just be a Kor Outfitter. That gets blown out way harder by munitions expert. So we'll do that. I'm just going to sideboard very little. I could bring in these March of Otherworldly Lights, perhaps. Maybe Pithing Needle. I don't know if Goblins plays Engineered Explosives. Well, you know, it does stop their combo, so I think that's probably worth it. I'll cut a Steelshaper's Gift. Yep, I think I'm okay with this. What do we have here? A lot of lands. I think we need a mulligan for a more aggressive hand. We also have Sanctifier in our deck, which is going to be strong against them. It's worth noting the Surge of Salvation. The way their combo works, it can actually fizzle their combo. I'm actually surprised how many times that's already come up, or at least in theory. I'm mulliganing this for the same reason. I'm going to keep this hand. Because they make infinite snoops, and then the last thing that they do is with their snoop is target their goblin that that tutors to the top, and when they go to do that, you can Surge of Salvation, and basically all of their snoops will die at the end step. They can't target you. It's kind of sick, actually. Okay. I think I'm mid-tech. I don't know if there's anything to be scared of. I doubt it. We're going to need a little help. We have a hammer, so we either need a Sigarda's aid. It would be the best draw. However, I will take a Puresteel Paladin as well. Although I would need a little bit more help to turn that on. Opponent's kind of in the tank right now. Crater Maker. Okay. So I want to say if he goes to kill my Esper Sentinel, it would be worth it to Surge of Salvation, but it may not be. Blood Moon. That is brutal. Okay. Luckily, Blood Moon is not as good against Mono White Hammer as it is against Azorius. Hopefully they don't have a whole lot of action going on. Their draw has been fairly slow. Bogart Harbinger. That's the card I was talking about that tutors for a goblin. I assume this just gets the Snoop. Goblin Matron, okay. Ooh, there's the aid. I like that. Pro black, pro red. Just going to put it on now. I got Surge of Salvation back up here. I'll use it, and hopefully we don't die, but I don't see us winning without our hammer. Now, they do have one blocker for the Sanctifier, the Ignoble. But if their plan is to go get Snoop here, they can't actually cast it this turn. So, ooh, a Trash Master. Okay. Oh, they got 2 blockers. Yeah, that's pretty good against what we're doing, I'm not going to lie. But, I mean, they're at 2 at this point. So it doesn't really matter. They should just die eventually. I probably should have gotten in with the Esper Sentinel there just to put them to 1. That'd just be 1 less goblin they have to sacrifice. I'm going to go ahead and block. Yeah, I don't see it getting much better. I'm saving this Eiganjo. I'm going to see if I can hit the Trash Master with it. If I draw a white land, I'd be happy, so I could do both. All right, well, this is hopefully their last block. They should sacrifice the Ignoble to kill my hammer. Maybe they don't. Maybe they... Okay, I was supposed to say... In theory, it doesn't matter at all. 2 and 12 are the same here. So I think they need to combo kill me or produce another... another green blocker. We're going to kill this guy just to minimize the amount of damage we take. All right, they didn't even try to hit it. Oh, they didn't have mana to cast it. All right, we are 3-1. I will see you guys in the last round. All right, guys, we're on the play in the last round. What do we have here? Okay, this is a good hand. I'm going to keep it. So, Hammer experts might know this. You know, I have that annoying Esper Sentinel into Stoneforge Mystic curve I was talking about. But I could also set up like a turn 3 with this Esper Sentinel. It is interesting. I think I'm supposed to lead on Esper Sentinel here. So I'm going to do that. It's kind of just a lightning rod. People tend to just kill it as fast as humanly possible. Okay. Okay. I wonder what that means. Is this like Amulet Titan? It definitely feels like Amulet Titan. Uh, Well, hopefully they don't kill us too fast here. That would definitely not be ideal. Basically just racing. Okay. We'll just get all the stuff. We're going to play all of our things. I'm not going to worry about it. I can tell you right now, I definitely missequenced this game. If I got the Sigarda's aid down earlier, and no, it might not have mattered. Correct me if I'm wrong, but there's a world maybe where I sequence correctly and I'm presenting a kill this turn. But I'm not actually certain of that. Ooh, they may not have a bounce land. If that's the case, they're in trouble. Because they should go get the amulet here if they had a bounce land, because there's a good chance that they can get us, but they don't. So this is the play they have available to them. Maybe if they have another explore, they can do something from here. This is a pretty straightforward matchup. We're basically just two ships passing in the night. I'm trying to kill them as fast as possible, and they're trying to win before I kill them. Okay. Is this like an arboreal grazer? All right, that's interesting. They still don't have... I still don't see a way for them to gain enough mana. Maybe if they have an Azusa here. So this gives them 2 additional land drops. That gives them 4 mana. And they obviously don't have like an Explorer. I guess we'll find out. Okay. Maybe they're just trying to produce enough blockers, but we have 4 attackers. If they can produce 4 blockers, they can stay alive. The Grazer has reach. It can block the Ornithopter. But they weren't able to get there. So what do we want in this matchup? It might just be this March of Otherworldly Light. And that's solely to hit Urza Sagas and to hit their amulets. I don't think anything else matters. Shadowspear doesn't seem that great. Oh, Pithing Needle also needs to come in, and that's for engineered explosives, which I assume they play. I assume everyone plays it. We will cut Blacksmith Skill and Surge of Salvation. and we'll just stay as fast as possible. And we will mulligan probably semi-aggressively to a fast opener. What does this hand do? Not a lot, honestly. It can disrupt a amulet or an Urza Saga, but beyond that, it does stone cold nothing, so I'm going to mull. This hand is kind of in the same boat. Yeah, this is unfortunate. I think I have to mulligan again. All right, we're just going to keep this one. I think the Urza Saga is a very reasonable keep. We don't need both Sigarda's aids, and I assume we don't need these. Okay. We're going to just lead on the Esper Sentinel. There's a world where we should play Urza Saga on turn 1. Sigarda's aid on... Or, I guess it doesn't matter either way. But the Saga might be our way to our hammer, assuming they're not on a quick draw, which... I'm going to go ahead and say they are probably on a very fast draw. Okay. Well, we have access to a hammer. We will get the hammer. Now we have to worry about Force of Vigor from this deck. Maybe that was a reason to keep in the Blacksmith skill. Ooh, they don't have the bounce land again. How unlucky. Okay. That's ultimately going to be a problem. Well, they know about the hammer, so I'm just going to get in there. If this gets blown out by a Force of Vigor, we'll just have to accept it. That's just the beats. We're on a mold of 4. Not a lot we can do about that. We need to just hope they don't start sniping us off here. So if we draw a land next turn, we can set up a kill. Our Urza Saga can go get a Shadowspear, and our Mystic can go get a hammer. But looks like we're going to die here. I'll let him... should be a pretty quick kill for them, so I'm just going to let them play it out, just to make sure they know, they know their combo. Which it looks like they do. And, there's... Sometimes they go for a line, and they don't have the lands they need in their deck for some reason. But most of the time, that's not the case. This should also trigger Valakut. As long as he stacks his triggers correctly, I believe. No, it doesn't trigger it. Okay, so you need one more land to do it. I mean, that's not even enough damage to. Not gonna bother. They might kill it anyways just by playing lands. They may have a bunch of extra land drops here. If they can make 4 extra land drops, they got me. Okay. Sure. Oh, that was kind of sick. So do we die next turn no matter what? I believe we do. I wonder if we should just try to cheese our opponent here by attaching a hammer to our sentinel and just hoping they don't block. What are the chances that happens? Is it low or high? Well, I have no choice. I'm acting like I have a I left a lifelinker trampler in my deck, which I did not. So I'm not going to bother to use my mana. I'm just going to attack with the Esper Sentinel and see if a block is made. Ooh, I'm actually auto-passing right now. It's not good. Okay, so a block was made. I don't know if it's possible for me to cheese out this Primeval Titan, but I'm going to try. So he's targeting our guy, so we'll try to save it. I believe he should have just attacked and got more Valakutes than done all of this action and just bolted us straight. I mean, he'd probably still do it anyways, but I think he could have done it a lot more efficiently than what he's doing right now. Oh, it may not matter. That's sick, man. This guy is disgusting. All 4 Dryads. This man is sick. That kills me. I have faith that he'll figure this last half out. All right, do we want the Shadowspear? Yes or no? I've reconsidered Blacksmith skill here. Could be good against Force of Vigor. Where Giver of Runes is not very good against Force of Vigor. Is the same true for Surge of Salvation? And do we want all 4 copies? Because I don't see this game ending because of Kaldra. Yeah, I like it. We'll rock it. We'll go first. What do we think about this hand? It's definitely not supremely fast. It doesn't have a consistent way to put hammers on. I'm a mulligan. This deck can often do a lot better. Ooh, this may not be it, though. Alright, I'm just going to keep this one, I think. Ugh. Makes that first hand mulligan look really dumb. Whatever. Let's go for it. Let's go for broke. Alright, I'm keeping. Do not care. So what do we want to get rid of? We're going to keep a land. We're going to keep an Esper Sentinel. We're going to keep a drum, and we're going to keep a Sigarda's Aid. That is rough. This hand absolutely gets smeared by a Force of Vigor. Do we care? Kind of. We kind of care. So our opponent has mulligan to 5. So I guess we're not in the worst possible shape. We're keeping. We're going to lead on the Sentinel. Just in case they have a turn 1 amulet, we'll get to Riku a card. All right, that's like kind of the nuts. I'm not going to lie. We still absolutely get smeared by a Force of Vigor, and there's nothing we can do about it, so I'm not even going to try. Is this an Explorer? Oh, it's an Amulet of Vigor. That's fine. That's reasonable. I'm not going to pretend like I don't know what's up. I'm just going to put it into play. If they got the Force of Vigor, more power to them. Whack. All right. We've put them to the test. What do you got? Okay, I need to stop auto-passing. Just in case I drew a Blacksmith skill. Alright, they're going to have a lot of mana this turn. What can they do with it? They did mold a 5. There's a chance that they don't have it quite all there. Alright, that's good for them. Man, maybe because these Arboreal Grazers, you just have to leave in the Spear. This thing just buys them a lot of time. Oh, they got the Titan. Kind of looks like they got a Titan or a Colossus or something. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, that's like Colossus mana, right? Because in theory here, we can make them block with... Well, we can't make them block with anything, really. Yeah, we can make them block with the Titan here by drawing a... Stoneforge Mystic into a Shadowspear. Although I assume we're dead here, but I'm just going to make sure he doesn't have the double strike land in his hand. I imagine he doesn't. This kind of feels like it's supposed to be a reasonable matchup for the hammer side. I'd be curious to know if that's actually true or not. Like, it's not like there's a lot I can do about what they're doing, but hammer can find, like, as you can see, even on a mold of 4, like, find very consistent turn 2, turn 3, turn 4 kills. And sometimes this deck is just slower than that, so if any hammer pilots out there know if this is supposed to be a good matchup or not, I would like to know. I suspect that it is, but I don't actually know. So anyway, I'll see you guys in my final thoughts segment. So what are my thoughts on this deck? It's strong. It's been a strong deck in this format for a while, so I don't think it's going anywhere. What I found pretty surprising about this new card, Surge of Salvation, is how many times the U being hexproof was relevant. I know it was kind of against a few, let's say, off-meta decks like Belcher and Goblins, but I'd be curious to know if it comes up in against more tier decks. Like, this fizzles an Archon trigger. I don't know how relevant that is, but, you know, that could win you the game. It seemed really strong. Like, obviously it's quite good against Fury. Blacksmith skill. There was a one game where Surge of Salvation saved 2 creatures. Blacksmith skill in that situation would have only saved 1. So there's a chance that you might want a 3rd Surge of Salvation in the sideboard. I thought losing the target permanent gains hexproof and indestructible would matter. I've had a lot of hammer players blow me out with this card by giving their hammer indestructible, which this card cannot save your hammer, but the prevent all damage to black and red being good against Fury and the U gaining hexproof might just give this card the nod. Like, that was like super impressive, and it's actually kind of scary that this particular deck has got any upgrades at all, because I hate playing against this deck. I think a lot of people do. It's still really strong. It's got a pretty deep pool of different cards it can play. Like, some people like to play the blue splash. I've seen people play a green splash, which I think is kind of off meta. And the sideboard cards, I've always liked the sideboard cards for these decks. They're just like really simple. Sanctifiers, Orvars, Dranniths. It's pretty much just all hate cards. And a lot of times you just don't even need it. This deck is so quick, even in matchups that you shouldn't win. Sometimes you just cheese them out and you win anyways. Deck's great. If you've never seen this deck and you're looking to get into Modern, this would be the one I'd recommend. It's got a pretty low floor. It's got a higher skill ceiling. So obviously there was a lot of sequencing mistakes that I made. I could have done better. And so if you pick up this deck, it'll start to show in your play how well you do compared to the average hammer player like myself. We had a 3-2 finish, which is kind of mediocre. Obviously, we had some really tough mulligans in round 5, and the Belcher deck was like a really weird matchup. But overall, deck is strong. And I will see you guys next time.